Fuck a duck. I have seen some bad shows before, but All's Fair may be the very worst. It's honestly more painful than getting a prostate exam from Freddy Krueger. The Kim Kardashian legal drama has proudly shouted to the world, "Jump off a cliff, She-Hulk. Fuck off and die, Velma, because there's a new bad bitch in town." This show is incredible in the sense that not only does it frequently contradict itself, but even the meta behind it is contradictory. This show is hated by pretty much everyone, with a 3% score on Rotten Tomatoes as of this recording, and even The Guardian giving it a scathing review. Yet the premiere is the most watched Hulu scripted show in 3 years, and has already been renewed for a second season. God, 2 seasons of this. I suppose if God can perform miracles, then Lucifer can do the same. Now, who is watching this Botoxed abomination of a show, and why are they watching, is a question that even Stephen Hawking's tremendous intellect would struggle to answer. The only people I can think that are watching this are reviewers, because it's their job to suffer this. This show is very much a straw feminist fantasy, fully living out all the tired quote-unquote girl boss cliches, and I usually don't like to use terms such as girl boss or woke in my reviews. In fact, today this is the only time I've used any such term in a review, but with All's Fair, there's really no other way to describe it. This show is horrible, and the characters are lacking in any good qualities. No, I'm not going to be polite, I'm going to be blunt. They're all fucking scumbags. It's a show that's actually most offensive to the very people that it tries so proudly to champion. Its female audience. The women in this show are all shallow, superficial and selfish, surrounding themselves in such opulent, even grotesque luxury that would make Elon Musk look conservative by comparison. Flying around the country, even short flights, in decked out private jets, down an expensive champagne, and whenever they feel a little blue, they go on $1 million shopping trip and get cosmetic surgeries to make themselves feel better, as you do. They then of course go home to their massive mansions, and all the staff are tall athletic men because they know their place. Now, for clarity's sake, I am actually a housekeeper in my day job. I am also a keen cook and baker, often baking little extra Christmas gifts for my family, this year's truffles. So I am not adverse to men doing the housework. But when your house staff is exclusively male models, well, reverse the genders and see how that looks on television. All's Fair is completely disconnected from reality. In the first episode, the lawyers only managed to get their clients a measly $40 million from her husband, stating that at least she won't have to live on nothing. Peasants. It's nice to know that in a time of financial uncertainty, where a lot of people have to choose between heating and food, the writers of this show believe that the equivalent of a winning lottery ticket is a pittance. This isn't even first world problems. This is top 0.1% problems. But hey, maybe you like that it's not a deep show. Perhaps you want something that's just a light-hearted, fun courtroom drama. Well then, I'm sorry to say you will also be disappointed, because it's not at all fun, and there is no law involved in this show. No. Typically, what happens is the lawyers have a briefing/therapy session with the client, where said client goes on about how she's the world's biggest victim, and her billionaire husband is evil. Oh yeah, most of the husbands on this show are billionaires. Turns out they're 10 a penny. Then the firm's investigator gets some dirt on the guy, without ever once getting off her fucking arse. So the lawyers can then use this information to blackmail, extort, or just plain steal a ton of money. Yet despite all of this, the show frequently tries to make us believe that these people are the heroes. Why are they the heroes? Because they are women, who represent only other women, and women are always the victims in court. So this makes them good people. I'm sorry, please ignore the images on the screen, they are completely unrelated to what I am saying. All's Fair skips over all the hard work lawyers have to put in, the long hours they work. I'm not exactly a fan of lawyers, but I can't deny they work fucking hard to get where they are. You don't just walk into an office building one day and get a 7-figure-a-year wage with a private jet and cushy work hours. Another problem is the humour, or attempts at least. Aside from being about as funny as going for drinks with Greta Thunberg, it's also just so crass and lowbrow. Anyone who's seen my previous videos knows that I have a fairly crass sense of humour myself. In fact, quite recently I found out my mates have a pact, saying I'm not allowed to plan a stag party or give a speech at any wedding or funeral for just that reason. However, even I cringed when we got such choice lines like,
"From cocktails to cock rings, all in one 24-hour period. Do you ever think how much happier we'd all be if your mother swallowed?"
Or forced to blow a priest with the chlamydia for a bowl of refried beans.
Classy as fuck. Now, before I get into the first episode, I wanted to get a woman's perspective on the show, so I asked my mum to watch the first episode, and this is the response I got after. Yeah, I shouldn't have asked her to do this so close to Christmas. I suspect my turkey will be raw this year. Also, thanks Mum for pointing out the thong shots. I actually hadn't noticed them until you mentioned them. Our twisted tale begins 10 years ago. Kim Kardashian, British girl and sassy black lady have gotten fed up with the chauvinistic law firm that they work for. These men are so sexist they don't even represent women in divorce court. Lawyers care about money, not their clients' genitals, but whatever. Glenn Close gives the trio her blessing to leave and start their own firm. Don't know why they need her blessing, they can just quit normally. And on the way out managed to piss off Sarah Paulson, so she decides to also start up a rival law firm, without Glenn Close's blessing. See, you can just quit and walk away. Cut to present day, and the trio of Kim Kardashian, British girl and sassy black lady are living it up in their high-rise office, celebrating 10 years since they walked away from the patriarchy. Their words, not mine.
10 years, 3 women, 1 verdict. Unfucking stoppable.
Trust me, the writers haven't even got started yet. They talk about their favourite cases of the past 10 years, one of which was when they got $1 billion for one of their clients from her husband. Fuck me. These three are so good at gold digging you could bankrupt a medium-sized nation. The other?
Media mogul divorced his wife because he found out she didn't finish high school. She was able to cash out so big that she has a Princeton science wing with her name on it. That, girls, is a teachable moment.
I don't know what that teaches anyone, to be honest. We're then introduced to our first client of the episode, a struggling actress who became a trophy wife to a billionaire and wants a divorce. Bit plain Jane for a billionaire's trophy wife, but woe betide we have anyone outshine Kim. She's leaving him for the third person in their relationship, another woman. However, she signed a prenup before they got married, so the settlement is small. The trio doesn't accept this, telling her that leaving the husband for another woman is the right thing to do, and she should get a fortune because he's the bad guy. A moment later, British girl gets a call from another client. Her husband found out that she's cheated on him and wants her out of the house, so she's locked herself in the bedroom and British girl tells her to grab anything of value and wait for her to get there. British girl then jumps on a private jet and soon arrives to the house and threatens to call the police for kidnapping, human trafficking, whatever takes her fancy really, if the doorman and husband don't let her into the house. What? It's his fucking house, lady! If you call the police, they'll throw you out. However, for some reason, they just accept this and let her in while she patronises a pair of them. I didn't think it was possible for a person to be this smug, but she pulls it off. So the British lawyer and client grab all the jewellery, which is valued at $40 million, just about enough to keep her from starving.
No shit.
And decide that although the prenup said she would get nothing if she cheats on the husband, the jewellery were all gifts from him and therefore not part of the prenup. I would love to watch this show with a real lawyer to see his or her reaction. On the way out, husband asked why she cheated on him as he was always faithful to her. She says that she didn't even like the guy she fucked. But he looks at her with desire and that was enough. Then tells him to go fuck himself and walks off in triumph, having defeated her evil husband who, wait, what did he do wrong? Who cares? The writers didn't bother putting any thought into this, so neither will I. Back at the firm, Kim and sassy black woman are discussing the trophy actress's billionaire husband. Sassy black woman has found out that he sees a dominatrix, and they just love that for her, you know? But 30 seconds later, they say him seeing a dominatrix is pathetic. It sums up this show's double standards perfectly. Kim and British woman go to see the dominatrix, and she initially refuses to tell them anything as confidentiality is key to her job. But Kim then bribes her with 5% of the $200 million settlement that they are going for. Now, if there's anyone watching this video who generally enjoys this show, I'll help you out. 5% of 200 million is 10 million. Now, put away your crayon and your safety scissors because it's medication time soon. Anyway, the trio blackmails billionaire's husband with the dominatrix pictures for $200 million right in front of his lawyers. And amazingly, that works. This is illegal. You've just broken the law in front of several lawyers. Yet, somehow, it's a good thing.
Are we the baddies?
The trio and plain trophy wife celebrate as they've given her life back. No, you could have walked away any time. They just got you $200 million despite you signing a prenup. After a long day of bribery and blackmail, Kim heads home, but her husband wants a divorce because she's just so incredible, so magnificent, that he feels so small next to her, despite him being a pro footballer, and then he just walks out. I'm not exaggerating, he actually says this. British girl and sassy black woman go round Kim's to cheer her up, telling her how she's just too amazing for him. He's scared of her strength because he's weak, and to cheer her up,
we're gonna go shopping!
But then comes the final scene. Thank God. Kim's husband is actually seeing Kim's secretary, because, as he puts it,
all's fair in love and war.
Oh my God, he said the name of the show he's in. It's so clever. Hooray! Glenn Close has returned to the firm to help Kim with her divorce. But boo! Kim's husband has hired Sarah Paulson to be his divorce lawyer. No time for that now, though. The first client of the day has walked in. She's a genius scientist and her husband is a businessman, making the money from her hard work. When they got divorced, they split the company in half. However, the half that he gave her is riddled in debt and tax bills, so she can't even afford to pay all her employees. The trio are not so confident about this case, as it could mean going against the taxman. So you'll proudly represent women, but not if it might be hard work.
Jog on.
Scientist woman goes outside for a vape and I shit you not, just jumps off the ledge. It's just so over the top and sudden, it's jarring. After seeing a woman commit suicide right in front of them, the trio and Glenn Close hop on a private jet to get drunk and buy nice things at an expensive auction. These people are the absolute worst. The group chat on the plane and Glenn Close has a husband with cancer, so he's currently very weak and the marriage is difficult. This will be relevant soon. They shortly arrive at the auction and the pieces are being sold by the cheating wife from the last episode who stole $40 million of jewellery. After the auction, Glenn Close goes to the hotel bar and gets chatty with the auctioneer, flirting with him, then going up to his room. Remember the husband with cancer? Also, British girl's boyfriend proposes to her, but she says no. On the flight back, British girl tells the others that she's happy to be alone in her 50s as she's got her work. Yeah, okay, you haven't even got a cat, love. And Glenn Close tells the others about the auctioneer, that she went to his room and got a bit frisky with him, but she didn't sleep with him. So it's all okay.
Fuck you, lady!
However, she is still going to tell her husband. That night, when Glenn Close gets home, she tells her husband about the auctioneer, and he is absolutely fine with this. I mean, really, really fine with this. Going so far as to say how handsome the auctioneer is, because he's the only good guy in this show.
What's wrong with him?
My first thought would be a lot.
In this show, being a good guy means that you're happy for your wife to nearly fuck some randomer, even saying how handsome he is while you've got cancer. God, seeing Ed O'Neill as such a pathetic cuck after Modern Family is just depressing. The next day in the office, sassy black woman has found out about Kim's husband sleeping with the receptionist, and the others want Kim to get angry, to get sad, to show any emotion. She can't, due to a lack of talent, lack of personality, and lack of an ability to move her face. Kim Kardashian can't emote at all.
Who the hell told you you could act?
British girl changes her mind and goes to accept her boyfriend's proposal because maybe he is one of the good ones like Ed O'Neill. Tanner says he's revealed to be a prick by the end of the show. Sassy black woman heads home to her 3 sons, all of whom she had by sperm donor, because she don't need no man in her life, and they don't need a father, which she makes abundantly clear to them many, many times. These boys are sure to all be wonderful fathers one day. The boys are supposedly all clever enough to get into college with full scholarships, despite the fact that they can easily afford to get in, because the sperm donor had an IQ of 140. Stuff like this isn't always genetic, you know. For example, my parents are both intelligent, honest, hard-working people. Yet my proudest achievement was last year when I finally learned how to pick the locks off of handcuffs. Despite sassy black woman being nothing but rude and dismissive.
Do I raise quitters?
No, ma'am, you didn't even let me quit.
Shut up.
Yes, ma'am.
And little boy, you best take that bass out your throat when you talking to me. You understand me?
The 3 boys then go on about how perfect their mother is, and all serenade her in song while she looks happy, I think. The actress isn't exactly good and has a lot of Botox, so it's difficult to tell. And yes, the whole serenading part is just as weird and creepy as it sounds. Now back to Glenn Close, who has cornered the business husband of suicide scientist lady. She is just as patronising to him as British lady was in the last episode. She tells him that she has evidence of his misdeeds, which could send him to prison for 5 years, unless he hires all the employees and fixes the problems that he has created. And that's it. It's done.
Good job.
Why the fuck didn't you just do that at the start before scientist lady jumped off the roof? Oh, who cares? The characters on this show certainly don't. Anyway, last scene of the episode, Kim goes to confront her receptionist, who says that she only ever slept with her husband because she worships Kim. In fact, everyone does. But she hates working for Kim because she will never be Kim. Can you see the subtle signs that Kim Kardashian is one of the executive producers on this show? Me, personally, I prefer my women to be less than 70% plastic and a decent human being. But to each their own, I guess. Kim still wants to know why. What's at the centre of it all? And they go back and forth in some meaningless word salad dialogue until finally receptionist reveals that she is pregnant. You know, it's occurred to me, dear viewer, that in watching and reviewing this show, I'm saving you about 6 hours of pain and torment. So if you want to hit me a like and subscribe, that would make my suffering worthwhile. This episode starts off with our, I'm not calling these people heroes or protagonists. Group. Yeah, let's go with our group. Starts with our group having lunch in the only office this law firm seems to have, talking about all the various cosmetic surgeries they're getting. Glorifying things like face fillers, injecting enzymes, vaginal PRP, and arse muscle surgery that's like doing 20,000 squats. Here's a crazy idea. Actually do 20,000 squats, you lazy fuck. 80 squats a day, every day for a month. It's not that hard. Also, Glenn Close is still with them, claiming that she's never had surgery.
I'm sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit.
Why is she still there despite not working there? I can only assume she just doesn't want to go home to her dying cuck husband. Then, the client of this episode enters the fray, ready for her counselling session about how she's the victim.
I'll be the victim all your life.
She's the wife of a rich and famous rock star, but it was never about the money or fame. They had a spiritual connection. As time went on, she started to age, and he wanted her to get cosmetic surgery, and her surgery was botched, so now she looks awful. Despite spending the first few minutes of this episode having the group glaze over how wonderful their cosmetic surgeries were, and how all women need a little help, this is considered morally wrong. So the group are going to get Rockstar's wife all the money she deserves, and make sure this surgeon can never ruin another woman's face again. She's sitting right in front of you. Bit rude. As the counselling session draws to a close, sassy black woman gets a message. She looks distraught, I think, and has to leave. Turns out Kim's ex has been seeing a trans woman, and Kim does not take this news well.
I feel like I'm in a dream. How is this even happening right now? Am I that stupid?
Yes.
How could Kim not see this all coming? He worshipped her. Or at least, she thought he did. Now, I'm not a marriage counsellor, but if your relationship is based on one party worshipping the other, then it's probably not a healthy relationship. The exception being myself and Emily Rudd. I worship her even more since I got that mannequin. The group and plastic rockstar ex then meet with the rockstar and his lawyer. They have a generous offer for a quick and painless divorce for both parties. $30 million. The fuck? That's $10 million less than the other one. Who can live off $30 million?
Peasants.
The group refuse and demand $100 million instead. Rockstar's assets amount to $150 million, so by law she can't possibly get more than half. However, the trio then do what they do best. They threaten to call the taxman about Rockstar's dodgy tax bills, and have already blackmailed the surgeon who operated on the wife to testify on their behalf, telling the courts that Rockstar forced her to get surgery. They will then go to Rolling Stones magazine to destroy Rockstar's reputation, despite admitting that they have no real evidence of anything.
She's horrible. I've made a ghastly mistake.
This is what sassy black woman calls sweet revenge. I'm not sure if this one counts as blackmail, extortion, or something else, but I do know it's not law. Now Glenn Close is meeting with Sarah Paulson to discuss Kim and football ex divorce. Football X wants $1 million a month from Kim, but Glenn's not having any of that shit.
Car, I'm not in the business of awarding obscene allowances to men who don't deserve it.
So far you've managed to get $240 million for 2 women whom cheated on their husbands. You cannot claim the moral high ground. Glenn Close then threatens to take Football X's relationship with a trans woman public and destroy his image and career. But for once, that blackmail shit doesn't work. Sarah Paulson tells her to fuck right off. His PR can easily turn that into, he's a modern guy, open to trans people. Sarah Paulson then asks for a more reasonable compromise, like the house is split between the two, and then she walks out. Okay, Sarah Paulson can't act for shit, but her character is without a doubt my favourite in this show. She's the only person to tell these horrid lot to stick their blackmail material rather than just back down quietly. The show keeps trying to portray her as evil, and the main characters as good, but if anything, she's the lesser of evils. She's mean for sure, but thus far has played everything completely by the law. We now join Football X and his trans girlfriend. Kim sent her a letter asking for help with the divorce, playing the girls standing together angle, but also making it clear that Kim will destroy her reputation if she doesn't comply. Back to blackmail, I see. Classy stuff. Trans girlfriend refuses, stating that when the media comes, she will keep quiet for Football X. In exchange, he will take their relationship public. Partly to help trans women out by being on the arm of the newly single football star, and partly because she's tired of keeping their relationship a secret, and Football X agrees. Okay, now it's between Sarah Paulson and trans girlfriend for my favourite character. They're both standing up to Kim Kardashian, blackmail extraordinaire. The next day, the group are discussing a problem with the rock star divorce case. Plastic X followed him to a restaurant while he was on a date with a girl and threw acid in his face. Their only reaction to this news?
I wish she would have told us what she was thinking.
Never mind that he's just been permanently scarred. Kim then goes to her secretary's house, which is way too nice for a secretary's house. But then these writers have no real understanding of money. Kim tells secretary that she can't have kids naturally, so her and Football X got some of her eggs fertilized by his sperm and then frozen a few years ago, but now she can't use those eggs without his signature. Oh dear God. I can already see where this is going. Secretary also refuses to tell Football X that she is pregnant with his baby, and the two of them together start a chant of, fuck that shit, fuck that shit, fuck that shit. It's like the world's worst cult. Kim then leaves, thanking Secretary. Weren't they just fucking the same guy 2 episodes ago? But I guess they're friends now or something, I don't know. Kim goes to the storage facility where her fertilized eggs are being kept. She's forged Football X's signature and gets inseminated with their child without his knowledge or consent. And this show seems to portray this as a triumphant moment for her. Completely ignoring all the moral and legal ramifications. So, just par the course at this point. And that's a wrap on episode 3. So that's as far as I've gotten into All's Fair thus far. And it's a show that lives up to its hype. It's quite possibly the worst show ever made. It drags on to the point where it feels even longer than Adrian Brody's Oscar speech.
It's a blessed life, no matter what you've accomplished. It signifies a destination. I will be brief.
Shut up! Like I said before, this show is actually most offensive to the very people it's trying to champion. Women. All the women the lawyers represent are crying, snivelling, broken wrecks. Yet they are also strong and independent because the incompetent writers don't see the numerous contradictions. All of these women have been destroyed by the evil, manipulative and cruel husbands, who are also weak and stupid. Again, contradictions. Casting Kim Kardashian as the lead was an interesting choice. I wonder who in the boardroom decided, let's cast Kim Kardashian as our lead. And then I wonder why nobody beat that moron to death and then put his brain through a shredder right then and there. Watching Kim Kardashian attempt to act is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. She can't act. She can't move her face at all. She just stands around looking dull and plastic whilst occasionally giving a few lines. There's not even any expression in her voice.
You're not actors! Some of you can't even speak English!
It's quite interesting that there are no women in this show that are younger or more attractive than Kim. All her fellow cast are between the ages of 50 and 80. And, like her, many of them are pumped with so much Botox, they can't move their face. It makes sense that all the other cast are geriatric though. Kim Kardashian is one of the executive producers of this show, and the only thing she has is her looks. Again, if you like that sort of thing. So there's no chance the show would hire an attractive actress with talent to stand next to her. In fact, Kim Kardashian is one of 17 executive producers for the show. Yes, you heard me right. 17. So it's given plenty of lazy, talentless fuckers a do-nothing job. I probably worked harder on this one review than those sods worked on this entire show. Glenn Close is a fine actress, but it's clear she is here just for a paycheck and gives a half-hearted performance. That being said, she's still way too good for this shit show. Glenn Close with 0 fucks given is still the best performance by a wide margin. To be honest, the rest of the cast are barely worth mentioning. Sassy black woman and British girl are there. That's it, they're just there. Series creator Ryan Murphy seems to have a metaphorical hard-on for Sarah Paulson, because he casts her in everything he does, and for the life of me, I don't know why. She can't act to save her life, she's about as interesting as a carrot. Wait, I take it back, this is actually good casting. She fits in with the rest of the cast perfectly. So, dear viewer, do you think this is the worst TV show ever made, or is there something even worse out there? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, I do appreciate them. And if you enjoyed this video, then give it a like and check out my other reviews. Till next time, fellow lunatics.